It's been an absolute wild past couple days with Bitcoin setting new all-time highs after new all-time highs. We've been on a roller coaster with different news cycles about tariffs, and yet we are still early in this cycle. In this video, we're going to talk about why I think the 4-year cycle could be at jeopardy and how that could be good for our bags, not only Bitcoin, but altcoins as well. We're going to talk about all of that in this video, but before we get started, welcome back to the channel. My name's Doc. Throughout the day, I'm a resident physician. And at night and early morning, I take you guys on my crypto and investing journey. It's been a couple days since I've done a video, but I promise we've been busy. Simple AI pre-sale is dropping this Tuesday. It's going to be on Pink Sale. This is a project that I'm helping out with. We've been working on this for over 6 months. Pre-sale is going to be on Pink Sale. It's on ETH. Super, super excited for the things that we're building. You can see the web address here. I'll put that down in the video description, but more on that later. Bitcoin sitting at $109,000. It's been bouncing around. We almost hit 110 over the weekend, and we had a little bit of a pull down here. There was some tariff shenanigans. Trump was mentioning that the EU, that he's recommending tariffs on the EU at 50% to start June 1st. And that's why we had this pullback down, right? We were at 111-ish. We pulled back here, and now Bitcoin's having a nice pop up. And that's because rumors that the tariffs have been delayed for a week. So that's really good. The other good thing is here on the MACD, we can see that this is starting to possibly turn bullish, which would be really, really good for price action. Ultimately, I'm just watching for us to stay above the 50-day moving average, which right now is just a little over 110,000. It's actually almost exactly 1,000 above where we are. So the goal is we need to take this resistance, flip it back into support, and then we show the MACD turn bullish. That would be really, really good. Bitcoin dominance still above 64%. Kind of boring here. It's just been hanging out. Again, I don't expect Bitcoin dominance to fall in a meaningful way until we get rate cuts or QT stops. ETH dominance still inching its way back up here. What this means is ETH is taking up approximately 9% of the total market cap. 9% of the total market cap. And I can tell you right now that we're looking at the weekly chart here. If this goes back, so this green was a buy zone down here. If this goes back to ETH taking up roughly a fifth of the whole market cap, your ETH bags are going to go absolutely wild. So we're talking right now stock futures. The stock market is going to be closed today on Monday, but on Tuesday it'll be open. And right now the futures are in the green, and that's because President Trump says that he's agreed to move this 50% EU tariff from June 1st to July 9th, right? So quite a bit. That's significant, right? Over a month. And what I will say is it's kind of maybe a little misleading because Trump said that like, oh, he's suggesting the tariffs go in effect June 1st. And then he said, oh no, I'm not negotiating. They're set at 50%. And now we're getting a move back. And I'm going to tell you here in just a second why I think they're doing this. But ultimately, this is why we saw this move in Bitcoin come up just within the last day or so. Now, likely the reason that all of this is happening is because the entire administration knows that the 10-year bond rates are getting really, really high. They're over 4.5%. And the reason that this is important is because the 10-year bond rate, this is the rate that mortgages are based off of, credit cards, home loans. This is really, really significant. And little data point for you, a little nugget, which by the way, guys, if you're getting any value out of this, hit the like button, consider subscribing. I'm asking nicely. Really, really, really helps me out. And comment down below, where do you think Bitcoin's going this cycle? But the reason that the 10-year rate is so important is historically, if the 10-year rate is between 4.5 and 4.75, we get like very, very low growth in the stock market. If it's above 4.75, we get next to zero growth, right? Sometimes even negative. And then if the 10-year rate is below 4.5%, that's traditionally really, really good for stocks. And guess what? The administration knows that. So by them putting on these tariff, chaos, deflections, whatever you want to call them, threats, it actually brings the 10-year yield down. And this is the weekly candle. You can see it's come down a little bit, right? So when these tariff talks all started talking, when we first started, the 10-year rate was really high. It was like almost 4.8%, and it tanked all the way down quite a bit to below 4%, and everything was really good. Well, then the Fed announces the pause with the EU and China, and the 10 years just spiked right back up. So that's kind of what you want to watch for there. The other really interesting thing is global money supply is continuously going up, right? Global money supply absolutely flying. We're going to talk a little bit more of that in a second. We're also building an awesome community. If you guys are looking to join someone that's looking out for you to navigate these crypto markets with a rock solid team, consider joining the Discord down below, completely free. We have absolutely nothing to sell you. I think Colin talks crypto. I just like using his charts because this is kind of where I first really got into the global money supply, but it just hit another new all-time high. So, right, all the money in the entire US, or excuse me, the entire world hit a new all-time high. And the reason that that's important is because if you look at this chart, the orange line is Bitcoin, the yellow line is the global money supply. You can see Bitcoin tracks this pretty well with an 82-day offset. So this is just a model, right? All models are useful, or excuse me, none are correct, some are useful. If this continues to track this, Bitcoin could potentially hit 160, 170, maybe even 180 or $190,000. And we need to keep monitoring this because so far this is tracked extremely well. And I'm the type of guy, I don't like to just look at things. I want to like verify for myself. And guess what? I'm showing here, this is global money supply. It continues to keep rocketing back up. If we just look at the US's money supply, right? This is only the US's money supply. We've actually hit a new all-time high in the US money supply. So this is really, really good for risk on assets, right? The more we print, the more risk assets like the S&P, the Russell 2000, Bitcoin continues to go up. We already talked about ETH a little bit, but I just wanted to show this chart. This is the ETH Bitcoin chart. And guys, I'm telling you, we looked at ETH dominance earlier. This is the ETH Bitcoin chart. If we can get ETH back up to the 0.06 range, right? That means ETH takes up roughly 6% of the Bitcoin market cap. Your bags, all of your alts are going to fly. It doesn't matter if they're on ETH or not, because we want ETH to do well because it's kind of a proxy for the entire altcoin market. And I already know you guys are holding alts. Okay, this is probably the chart that I've been waiting to share for the past couple days. This is gnarly. Okay, so plan B, he did some linear regression here. A very simple model that he built, but he's basically saying when the S&P 500 hits $7,000, Bitcoin will be 300 grand. This is so important. Just stay with me here. I'm going to break this down really, really easy. So we built this simple linear regression model. It has a really good correlation, right? We have an R squared or correlation coefficient of 0.87, really, really strong. And basically on the x-axis here, you can see the S&P 500, the y-axis, you can see Bitcoin. And basically when the S&P hits 7,000, we come up here because, right, this is log scale, 10,000, 100,000, million. Bitcoin will hit roughly $300,000. Okay, so let's just look at this because this is not as wild as you think. This is the S&P 500 on the weekly chart, right? And this goes all the way back to like right here's 2010. Obviously, this is 2025. Are you telling me that we can't come up and hit 7,000 on the S&P within a couple years? Guys, the last time I remember, the S&P were like, oh my gosh, we just hit 5,000. Guys, at its peak, this was over $6,000 before the tariffs. This is going to hit 7,000. It's just a matter of time, right? Here was 5,000. Here's 6,000. 7,000 is where this white line is. That is not that far away. And once the S&P hits 7,000, Bitcoin's going to hit 300 grand, and that is going to be life-changing money. More on that in a second. We're going to follow that. But the Bitcoin conference is this week in Las Vegas. We got a rock star lineup. JD Vance, right? The Vice President of the United States, obviously super pro crypto, tons of people there, Saylor, other Trumps. I'm going to be there. So if you're going to be there, let me know down below in the comments. Love to get a picture and just meet up and say what's up to everyone. The reason that I still am super bullish for this cycle is this is the Bitcoin market cycle ROIs from the bottom, right? From the bottom. And you can see this pink line. This is the current cycle that we're in. The green line is last cycle, right? So that's 2020, 21. And then the tan line, or the gold line rather, that's the 2017 cycle. We are underperforming all of the other cycles. And guess what? Right in here, we were really similar to all the other cycles. And now it's just starting to separate. And guess what? Sometimes they go up, sometimes they go down, but ultimately they follow pretty closely. So if we can get another ramp up like we did in 2017 or 2021, that would be huge, right? That would be absolutely awesome, because right now Bitcoin's roughly a 7x from the bottom. If we could get up to, just if we hit this line right here where I'm moving my mouse left to right, just if we can get up to here, that's a 10x, and that would be roughly $150,000 Bitcoin. And honestly, I think that we can go higher than that, especially when we see that USDT dominance is starting to come down, right? So USDT dominance, all this means is this is how much of the market cap is in USDT, that stable, right? And we're using USDT as a proxy for all stable coins. And in essence, we want this to come down, because this means that money is moving out of stables into crypto, okay? Out of stables and into crypto. And that's really important, right? Because that money is eventually going to first start to go to Bitcoin, and then it's going to move back into other alts farther down the risk curve, right? So that's really important. And here's the other thing that I'll say. Right now, we're below the 50-day moving average on USDT dominance. So this is good. We want this 50-day moving average to act as resistance, and that we keep bouncing off it to go down further. The other good thing is if we look at the MACD on this, it's red. So this is good. We want USDT dominance to keep falling. Okay, the other thing, and I just feel obligated to say this because, you know, crypto's crazy, right? We saw that the SUI, one of the main dexes on SUI, Cetus, it got hacked. Over $200 million was stolen in the process. And it really just goes to show, like, you got to be careful out there, right? Make sure you're not, you know, doing anything crazy. You're not connecting your wallets to random things, because unfortunately things like this happen even on really established networks like SUI and Cetus. And just for the record, this wasn't a SUI thing. This was the #1 DEX on SUI, which is Cetus. And, you know, with that being said, the reason that I want you to be safe and like make sure you're not throwing away money, because ultimately I think every dollar that you make in this cycle is going to be worth $5 or $10 in the next cycle. So 2 months ago, I did a video where I talk about the 2028 Bitcoin halving cycle and like where the market cap and the price of Bitcoin can go. I'm going to link this down below. Newsflash, it's way higher than where we are now, right? So if Bitcoin is in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, guess what? Your alts are going to be 10, 20, 30, 40, maybe even 50x where they are now, right? Especially if USDT dominance keeps falling, Bitcoin dominance eventually falls. That's going to be really good. And I go back to this tweet all the time by Benjamin Cohen, right? He kind of called this, right? We're going to hit $100,000 somewhere in 2023, 2024. We actually did hit this, right? And that was huge. That was the end of 2024. And he's saying, right, at some point in 2026, we're going to have a bear market and all that stuff. And guess what? In a few short years, because the time's going to go by anyways, we are going to have a $500,000 Bitcoin, right? And then roughly a decade after that, and these are just his estimates, roughly a decade after that, Bitcoin's going to hit $1 million. Okay. $1 million. Here, you know, we're talking about different 4-year ROI cycles. My question to you is, what if this is all broken? What if this happens faster, right? What if we get to 500,000 faster than 2032? Or what if we get to $1 million faster than 2040? And I'm going to present to you why I think that could happen, right? And newsflash, it's the ETFs. Retail is not here yet. And this was such an awesome chart. I don't know who made this. I'll link it down below though. This is there's a lot of data here. So what this chart is trying to do is it's trying to predict Bitcoin's price based off the ETF inflows, right? So they made a model where they can predict Bitcoin's price based off how much money is coming into the ETFs. So the black line, this is Bitcoin's actual price. And then the red line, this is the model's price, okay? And then the colors are standard deviation of where the price should be based off the ETF inflows. Don't let this confuse you. The yellow band just shows one standard deviation, right? And then the red band shows two standard deviations, right? So guess what? You can see it's absolutely spiking right here. That's because the inflows have gone absolutely crazy. Right now, the model is predicting that Bitcoin should be around $120,000, okay? 115, but the inflows have been going crazy the past couple of days. So the model is actually closer to $120,000 where Bitcoin should go. Well, guess what? If the M2 money supply continues to keep flying up and we have the inflows keep rocketing up, Bitcoin's gonna hit 150, 160, 170, maybe even $200,000 this cycle. And that's huge. If that happens, this tweet might not hold true. And what I mean by that is we might hit 1 million per Bitcoin way faster than 2040. So I had to share that chart with you. I know it's a little nerdy, but I really like the data and how they use the different regression bands there. So lots of things going. My advice to you, if you made it this far, again, this isn't financial advice. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just going to tell you what I'm doing. There's a lot of noise going on right now with the tariffs, different world events, different countries, are they at war? Do they have a peace treaty? A lot of it is noise, and it's really designed to shake you out of your bag, right? The past couple months, it's been retail that's selling their bags, right? And these big institutions are buying them. So you have to have a plan and stick to it. The reason that I say that, it sounds so rudimentary, but you have to stick to your plan because guess what? Crypto is riding the roller coaster. We were talking about this in the Discord earlier today. Someone was saying like, oh my gosh, like this cycle's been crazy. Guess what? Every cycle feels like this. Every cycle feels crazy, right? And it's really, do you have the stomach to get through this, right? Saylor was saying this himself. Millionaires are really good at just doing nothing for a long time, right? If you have conviction in your play, if you had enough conviction to click the button and make your purchases, I would hope you bought with conviction to withstand some of these swings because it is volatile. And guess what? Having a community with you can help you get through this. Join a Discord. It doesn't even have to be my Discord. Just join someone's Discord. Obviously, I'm biased. I think we have an awesome Discord and it's free. I'm not charging anything, but get in a Discord with someone, with a group of people to help you navigate this. Because guess what? The volatility is not going to stop. It's going to keep ramping up and you can get through this if you don't get shaken out. We have so many bullish catalysts happening. You just have to get through this, weather the storm, and this could be life-changing money. If you guys got any value out of this, hit the like button. It helps me out way more than you know. Comment down below, even if it's something silly, and I'll see you guys on my next video.